So in my Where in LA video, to my pleasant surprise, a lot more of you guys are familiar with the Salentahunga area than I expected. And this is one of those rare areas in LA that if you've never passed through here before, you would never know it exists. Salentahunga feels like it's been left behind, but there's also a lot of history here, so let's talk about it. Before the Europeans arrived in California, this area once belonged to the Native American Tongva people. This area was called Tahunga by the Tongva people, and Tahunga went from present-day Tahunga all the way down to Lakeview Terrace. Now, the translation of the word Tahunga hasn't always been exact, but most would say it means old woman placed to the earth. Tahunga is surrounded by the mountains with the potential to be an absolutely beautiful neighborhood. There are often beautiful views of the sunset over the West Valley. In 1840, a land grant was given by Mexican Governor Juan Alvarado to brothers Francisco and Pedro Lopez. The rancho's name was Rancho Tahunga. They would end up trading lands with a man named Jose Miguel Triunfo, who was actually a man from the Tongva people. Triunfo received Rancho Tahunga, and the Lopez brothers received Rancho Cahuenga. The land swapping would continue, they'd go back and forth. Triunfo would eventually sell part of Tahunga back to Francisco. Francisco Lopez would eventually sell his part of Tahunga to Agustino Olvera, the man that Olvera Street is named after. Oh, and real quick, that bar used to be called the Sundown. If you know what sundown means, then you know exactly the type of people that used to live here. Gold would be found in the nearby Big Tahunga Canyon, and when California became part of the U.S., Tahunga would be bought by Andrew Glassell. The drought of 1863 wiped out a lot of the ranches in Tahunga. The area of Sunland was previously known as Monte Vista. New settlers began moving into the area in 1913. This group of people was known as Los Terrenitos, or the Little Landers. The Little Landers group was the second of its kind. The first setup happened in San Isidro, led by W.E. Smith. Smith was born into a wealthy family in Massachusetts. He was given the opportunity to attend Harvard, instead chose to apprentice at a newspaper. He believed that people should be able to live off the land, a simpler kind of life. He wrote, "A little land and living, surely, is better than the desperate struggle and great wealth, possibly." Smith headed to LA in the year 1908 to create his second utopia. Plots of land up here were selling for $250. Bolton Hall became the cornerstone of the community in the foothills. By August of 1913, about 200 families had purchased land. The pitch? How would you like to be your own boss in a place like this? Sounds kind of like a pyramid scheme, doesn't it? By 1917, the Little Lander Society all but disbanded. A few stayed, but most sold off their lands.